This conversation contains discussions about mental health and suicide. It may be sensitive for some listeners. If you or someone you know is in distress, please contact 211. Help is available 24/7. Please listen with care.
I lost my brother in 2006 to suicide. My parents got a knock on their door one night after midnight and they were told he was gone. I felt like I needed to be there for everybody else and really be the strong one. And so I took on a lot and was helping everybody else. But then 6 weeks later, my aunt also took her own life. And so at that point, it was just absolute shock. And I walked through everything in a fog. I was still trying to do everything for everybody else. But 18 months later, my friend also took her own life. And at that point, I was just absolutely lost. I knew I couldn't handle it anymore, but I didn't really know what to do. I didn't know how to cope with grief because it was the first time I'd really lost somebody who was close to me. And so I would think about what I could do to get through the days. I didn't want to think about what was happening. I didn't want to think about the people that I'd lost. I was driving to work one day early in March and I hit a patch of black ice and I rolled my vehicle at the time. And the first real clear thought I had when everything stopped was, I don't want things to go like this. And it was just the clearest moment that I knew I had to change something because I was getting a second chance. I could have died. It was a very serious accident, but I walked away without a scratch. You know, I was very, very fortunate. Well, I went to the hospital because I needed to get checked out, made sure that everything was okay. On my drive home, actually, I pulled over and I made a call to 211. I remember making the call because I remember how scared I was and just feeling overwhelmed and just reaching out and saying, help me. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what I needed, but I knew that I had heard of 211 somewhere and that they had access to resources, and I figured they could point me in the right direction. And what I remember of the person, I don't remember a lot of specifics, but I remember them being compassionate and being kind and giving me a name and a number that I wrote down on a scrap of paper in my car, and I went home and I called them. And it led me to a program for suicide bereavement that I went through that honestly was life-changing for me.